All right, I am officially recording.
Hello.
And hello.
It's so
Uh,
nice to see you.
it's good to see you too. Aw, I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, in a long while.
So today's guest is my lovely friend Konata. Konata 6FAE. Wait, what does that
Yeah, something like
stand
that.
for again? What is that there?
It stands for nothing. It's what Steam gave me before I signed up to VRchat with the Steam account.
Yeah.
And VRchat takes my Steam name and adds a random jumble of letters. I didn't know I had that till someone took the first screenshot of me, and I was like, wow, that looks terrible, but I'm not gonna change it. And now I'm a trusted user.
Okay. You can change your name though. Like,
No, not as a Steam user.
oh, really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
can't upload
yeah.
avatars. I can't do worlds. Yeah.
You can't upload avatars as a Steam user?
Nope. Nope. So I mooch off of my friends. My friends, I don't make
Oh,
my own avatars anyways. My
fair
friends
enough.
make avatars for me. I have lovely friends.
So this is my friend Kanata once again. This interview is gonna be a little different because Kanata wanted to interview me.
Yes, yes.
And I didn't actually have too many interview questions for you. I did. Some of it was about the trip that you took recently, and
Oh
I
yeah.
guess stuff maybe that's happened since the last time I saw you and spoke to you.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of like just being in VR now that you've been unmuted for a little while and you've been doing other stuff like singing and stand up, I guess, which is really cool. Um,
Something like that.
yeah, how was your trip recently, by the way? I heard you went on
It,
another like cross country sort of thing.
I did. It was lovely. Oh my gosh, I have okay, there's a lot of things I'm embarrassed about. Just
Yeah.
gonna get out in the open right now.
Mhm.
I feel really bad about being a terrible interview guest last time. I was like so vague with
No.
everything, so
You
I
were
want to be like,
fine. You were great. It was my very
thank
first
you.
interview I'd ever done too. So, no, I thought it was
I'm gonna try to
good.
be more honest and transparent this time, all the way up
Were
to
you
like giving.
not really? I thought you kind
I
of
don't
would
know.
have.
I get in my own head.
Okay,
But,
fair. Yeah.
um, and at some point, I wanted to talk about uh that naked guy we saw on the mountain because that sort of
Okay.
had something to do like me get like
Oh, right, that guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And anyways, and it sort of has something to do with the road trip too. But yeah, no,
Okay.
the road trip overall was really nice. I really needed it. I was burnt out on life and work.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand that. Oh.
but taking a road trip, like people who've driven before, they always say like, "I'll never go on a road trip. I hate driving, right?" But I promise, a road trip is completely different.
Yeah.
Uh, just setting out in a direction. I'm gonna go east, or I'm gonna go west, or I'm gonna go north or south, and not thinking of a destination,
Mhm.
not having a destination in mind, not saying, "Oh, I got to get here by this time," whatever. No, I'm just gonna go that way. When I feel tired, I'll take a nap. When I feel hungry, I'll go eat. If I see something cool, I'll stop and check it out. Like that's the most amazing sense of freedom I've ever felt in my entire life.
Oh,
And
that's
whenever I'm
great.
burnt out, like that's amazing medicine. Like clears my
Mhm.
head. I can sort of have spend time with myself, and I always get some sort of epiphany or revelation. It's really helpful to what's going on in here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And I guess the clarify Canada went to visit a lot of their, I'm guessing specifically VRchat friends, like
yeah, yeah,
IRL, across the
yeah.
states. And
So another thing I love about the road trips is it meets sort of all my little joys in life. So my number one joy in life is food,
yeah.
as you know, and number
Mm.
two is scenery, and number three is friends.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so I get to go and experience all of them. Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of VR friends and a lot of like IRL, like college, and also like family as well.
Mhm. So where did you visit? Where'd you go this time around? Who did you
So,
visit to?
oh yeah. So originally, I was just gonna. go down to Texas for some barbecue,
Mhm.
and to meet up with Sweet
Mhm.
and visit, a bunch of friends along the way there. And then I think like 2 weeks before I set out, and I think I decided this like a month, 3 or 4 weeks before. I was like, I'm gonna go on a road trip. See, I told everybody at work I'm gonna be gone next month, but um, I 2 weeks before my trip, my friend Phoenix, who's one of my singer dancer friends, said, "Hey, I'm gonna be doing a concert like IRL.
Mm.
I don't know if I should dox them somewhere on the East Coast."
Mhm.
And I checked. I'm like, that's only like a day's drive away. Yeah, I'll do it. And I was like, well, if I'm going all the way to the East Coast, I might as well do like a whole cross country thing.
Mhm.
So I went down to LA. I met up with my friend Ari, VR friend. We had boba. We chatted for hours at a cafe. Ari took me to a bunch of really delicious food in LA, and I went to the BTS concert. My
Oh,
first,
wow.
my first BTS concert.
How is
Um,
that?
it was the best day of
That's
my
like
life.
yeah,
Ah,
that's like heaven for you.
it was absolute heaven. I was jumping and singing and dancing in my seat. And there was like 50, thousand other people singing and
Oh my
dancing and
gosh,
jumping. Oh
yeah.
my God, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh.
um,
How
I
much were
think that was
tickets to that?
it was insane. They're all scalper tickets. I hate Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster, go fuck yourself. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like 240. The
Okay, that's
cheapest
not
scalper ticket was like 200.
that's really not
Yeah.
that bad. I mean, that's about what I thought. It's so expensive, but
Yeah.
I feel
The
like
original price is $60.
oh
So,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. That's insane.
But the most expensive scalper ticket was like 10 million or something for like front row seats. 9,
10
10 million.
million dollars.
Mhm,
10
mhm.
million? Oh my
Yep, yep.
god.
But it's
Jeez.
okay. There's plenty of sugar daddies in LA willing to pay that. But
I guess so. Oh my gosh, 10 million. That's a
yeah.
lot. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so you
Um,
went to LA and
yeah, no, that's when I had my first epiphany, and maybe like my biggest one. It was
yeah.
literally like on day one. So
Mhm.
right after the BTS concert, um, like I laughed and cried, and it was very emotional. And 11:30 p.m., almost midnight, 4 hours of concert. I was like, okay, I can stay in LA for one night at a hotel, crappy LA murder hotel, and for super overpriced, expensive, or I can drive to my next destination, Vegas,
Mhm.
um, and pay what $40 for like this skyscraper, like fancy casino hotel, because like they lower the prices for casinos, so you go and gamble, but I don't gamble, so I get the cheap hotel.
Mhm.
Uh, and I'm like, okay, how far is Vegas? Oh, 4.5 hours. Okay, so I drove and I got there at like 3:30 a.m. But like on that drive, I was still hyped up from BTS. Oh, and the night before I didn't really sleep. I slept for like 3.5, 4 hours. So I was like, okay, I gotta like stay awake so I don't die. Uh, so I played the same playlist that they did at the concert on my Spotify just to like re-experience the concert.
Mhm.
And there were two songs, and I think accurately explain why I love BTS so much and what they mean to me. The first song was called "Life Goes On," and they released it in 2020-ish during COVID. And I
Mhm.
think the idea was just to remind, you know, their fans, times are really tough, but life goes on, and it's gonna be okay. And remember the good times we had before. It'll happen again. Um, and I teared up at the concert when they sang that because that was my number one most played song on my
Mhm.
Spotify in 2020. I
Mhm.
would play that on loop in the morning. That song would get me out of bed, because it's so damn hard to get out of bed. Um, and when I played it in the car, I just bawled. I was just crying
Mhm.
so hard. I was like yelling the lyrics, crying in my car. I was like, ah! It was great. Um, I had to like wipe my tears so I wouldn't drive off the road. And then the second song, which was the second to last song that they played at my concert, um, which is my favorite song from BTS of all time. It's called "Love Myself." Um, and there's been, self-love songs and artists who talk about self-love. But this song was interesting and a little more special to me because, oh, sorry, um, because it wasn't like telling me to love myself, or it wasn't like, oh, what's wrong with you? Like, you should love yourself more. Because some backstory, like, no one in the world hates me more than me. That's a little line I used at my
Oh.
stand-up last night. But 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 the song was more like talking about another person. And one of the lines was, "You've shown me I have reasons I should love myself." Um, and when I listen to that song, I think of, oh, my friends, and like especially my friends in VR. Um, I was mute, completely mute, 2018, 2019, summer of 2019. I met my first VR friend, Zarniel, who was also my first friend in VR. And I remember freaking the fuck out because I wasn't ready to meet anybody. It just sort of happened. And I remember we met at a bar and I ran past him. I couldn't,
Yeah.
I couldn't, I couldn't meet him. I was like, okay, there's on. Oh, and then I ran right past him. I couldn't say hi to him. I went in the bathroom. I go to the bathroom when I'm nervous. I went in the bathroom and I was just hyperventilating for 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I go out and then I tap Zarn on the shoulder from the bathroom side. So he's expecting me to come from the door. I'm on the bathroom side. And I'm like, hey Zarn, it's me. And the first thing I said was, I'm not a girl. I hope we can still be friends.
Oh. Yeah.
But Zarn just looked at me, smiled, gave me the warmest pat on the back, and was like, sit down. And we sat down, we talked for hours till the place closed. And then we went to the boba place next door and talked some more. But that's just one example. I have a ton of friends who did something really, really beautiful for me, and just accepting me and treating me like their friend. I know it sounds dumb, but like to me that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Um, but so that song, I think of my friend, it's like, yeah, like I might not be totally on board with this idea, this crazy idea of loving myself, but like my friends have shown me, like if they can love me, then maybe someday I can be like them
Mm-hmm.
and see some of what they see. But yeah, no, I'm an
Oh.
asshole. But yeah,
Oh. Are
but yeah,
you?
that's BTS. Oh yeah. And then so by Love Myself, that song, that was like the second to last song. I was bawling, crying. I was like, oh, I was like my head was down. I was driving like a maniac at like 96 miles per hour, and there was like tears on my glasses. I was like, trying to wipe the tears so I don't die. But yeah, eventually I got to Vegas, and then I met up with Roshan,
Yeah, which is
which is a mutual
a
friend of
mutual
ours.
friend of ours. Yeah, how was that?
Mhm. It was great. Roshan took me to a barbecue, the same barbecue we went to last time, and we talked and caught up, and we went to the park. Roshan brought their guitar, their acoustic,
Mm-hmm.
and Roshan sang and played guitar in the park, and I danced just like we do in VR. It was
Yeah.
lovely, and then like sunset and at the park. Oh, so it was really nice.
Oh,
I might have done a little singing too.
that sounds nice.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so you went to Vegas, and then where'd you go after that?
I think after that, I just went straight into Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I stuffed myself with barbecue, and then I got to where Sweet was, and Sweet. The first thing I was expecting Sweet to take me to an American barbecue, but the first thing they took me it was to a Japanese barbecue.
Oh, that
And
sounds
apparently
good.
that's where they got their name. Yeah, Sweet Heat. It's like sweet barbecue, like
Mm-hmm.
heat. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. Because I rarely like get to try Japanese barbecue.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then like we did a lot of dancing, a lot of eating, a lot of talking. Um, yeah, no, I think that was the first time I got to like meet up with a dance friend, and do like a ton of dancing. Like my knees
Oh, really?
hurt so
Didn't you
much.
visit
Yeah,
Ron
my
one
feet.
time?
Yeah. We didn't dance though.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
see.
Ron, that
Yeah.
little gremlin. I think he was too shy to dance. Funny.
Oh, that's
Did I
so
did I t-
cute.
did I
What?
tell you about the sweet tea lemonade with Ron?
I don't think so. Or for
Okay,
what?
okay. So my previous road trip, I got to see Ron, um, and Ron is this little gremlin, and uh, Oh, and the whole meme with Ron is pizza. Like Ron
Yeah.
loves to eat pizza. Like on stream, it'll just be munching on pizza. So I was
Yeah.
like, Ron, we gotta go get pizza. And I'd already met Ron before in San Diego during TwitchCon, but this
Uh-huh.
is like, we got to know each other a little better. And Ron's like, okay, I don't know where to go. I'm like, and this happened multiple times. Like everybody whose city I visited, like I ended up showing them around. Besides Sweet, like,
Yeah.
like someone like Ron. So Ron always stayed in their room and got like cafeteria pizza. So
Yeah.
I yelped this really nice place, local pizza place. They source their own like pig and
Oh
bacon
wow.
and like yeah, it was amazing. Went there, pizza was delicious, and I got like an Arnold Palmer, which in the South it's like a sweet tea lemonade.
Yeah.
And I think Ron got one too. And we were talking, and Ron was telling me about their family and stuff and work, and the waiter came and was like, "Oh, like you want me to take the empty glasses or whatever you want to refill on the Arnold Palmer?" And I think I said something awkward like, I'll get a refill, but like and then like Ron maybe didn't want to get a refill, so maybe I'll just get a cup or whatever. Whatever it was, it got misunderstood, and the waiter came back with one glass of Arnold Palmer and two straws. So, and Ron and I ended up sharing a sweet tea lemonade. It was very nice. And then we went to go
That's so cute.
yeah, and then we went. We laughed our asses off. We looked like when she put the thing down and then she left, and then we saw the two straws and we looked at each other like, and
Oh.
yeah, and we went to have ice cream. So that was
Oh.
delightful. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the last one. But yeah, no, but jumping back to Sweet, yeah, we danced in the park. We danced at their house. Um, I'm not gonna bring up the horrendous kitchen that they had, even though
Wait,
I
no,
just
you should because they were like when you were there, you cleaned it up, and which I thought was
um.
very sweet. And yeah,
So so by that time I had already been I was almost a quarter of my road trip, right? Like maybe like a weekend eating out, right? Like I had great Korean barbecue and great food in LA and all that. So like I was ready to eat like a home cooked meal, and I know how to road trip. So I keep like a cooler of like some ingredients that I know how
yeah.
to cook really easily. I brought my Instant Pot just in case, and uh I was like, can I use your kitchen? Because I think Sweets was the first place that I stayed at. And I had a lot of friends, lovely friends who let me stay at their places. Um, and Sweet was like, yeah, of course. And they're like, oh, but we might have to clean up the kitchen. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And they're like, we might have to go to Target and get some supplies. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Later that day, I get settled in. I set up my air mattress and Sweets in their room playing VR. And I walk into the kitchen. No, that's correction. I walk on the outside of the kitchen because I couldn't even walk inside. And
What?
I'm like, oh, I see. I
Yeah.
see why. And Sweet was like, yeah, we might have like it might be like an hour to clean it up. I'm like, an hour? What kind of kitchen takes an hour? I understood now. This isn't gonna take an hour. This is gonna take like it ended up taking like 4 hours. But
4 hours.
I, yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like I might as well. Like Sweet's playing VR. I got nothing else to
Oh.
do. So
Yeah.
I just start cleaning. I put on my BTS playlist on shuffle, and I just start jamming and I start cleaning. And I'm like, if I have to go to Target to get some cleaning supplies, I'll just get it when I need it. Turns out, as I'm opening up the drawers and looking around and getting the cleaning supplies, Sweet said that we needed gloves, sponges, and like cleaning the
Yeah.
liquid, whatever that is. Um, I found 3 boxes of gloves, 3 sponges, and 3 bottles of cleaning detergent. Like 3 of everything that Sweet said that they were out of.
Oh.
Um, and it was just like hidden in different places. So I'm like, okay, this is a cry for help. Let me just do this.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
Yeah, they're super sweet. But yeah, and then I just started jamming and cleaning and stuff. And like there's 2 things with me. Like I'm really OCD about cleaning. That's something like I got from my
Yeah.
mother. growing up in my childhood. Like now I just can't stand like anything but a clear and clean
Yeah.
countertop, especially in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that was one thing, and the other thing is like it was just really enjoyable to like blast BTS and just be left alone
Yeah.
and just clean. And like in the end, um, I wish I took a before picture, but I kind of didn't because I don't ever want to see that again. but,
Yeah, it
but
was
like
that. Wait, what was so dirty about? Like, I imagine. I can't even
I
imagine really. Just dirty dishes
yeah,
I see a lot, but
I
like,
can't
is
even
it?
describe it. I have to like use a hyperbole. It was like nightmare fuel,
It
apocalyptic,
was that
zombies in
bad.
Cthulhu inside a hurricane of a nuclear bomb explosion. Um,
Okay, that's
like like it
what
was
is.
it was
Was it just like
insane.
garbage everywhere? Is there like?
There, I don't want to make Sweet look like this.
No,
Like
wait. I want to know
really,
everything about Sweet.
it
There's
was
a.
it was it took 4 hours. It took 4 hours,
Okay. All
but
right.
like I had a really good process. Like the first hour was just the sink. Like I spent
Wow.
an hour on the sink and the dishes, and
Yeah.
then like another hour
Does he have a dishwasher
on.
at least?
Yes, I
Okay.
ran it like 2 or 3 times, and
Wow.
I hand
Okay.
and I hand washed and like the other half,
Yeah.
and and I spent an hour on the floor,
Oh,
uh,
sweet.
and then an
Yeah.
hour on the rest of the counter, and then an hour on like just miscellaneous.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, like it was enjoyable for like, to be honest, it was enjoyable for like 3.5 hours. The last half hour, like my legs were starting to get a little tired from dancing,
Yeah.
honestly. So, but it was great. It was nice. Like, and at the end, like just for my own, like it was kind of lethargic. It was kind of like therapeutic, like cleaning, and just
Hmm.
being allowed to, clean without. It's kind of like driving, like cleaning without a destination, cleaning without like it wasn't my house. I didn't actually have to make it clean, but I just got to clean for fun.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah,
Oh,
weird.
I know he
Yeah,
appreciated it a lot. I'm just. Oh, poor Sweet.
yeah. What about you? I've been yapping
What
my
about
my
me?
my mouth off.
What
Yeah.
about. Wait, we're not done with you yet.
Okay.
Uh. Well, I mean, I've been good. I don't know. I've been so busy with these interviews and stuff, and
Yeah. I'm really enjoying them. If that's any consolation,
that is
I'm
some
still trying to catch
consolation.
up. They're so
No,
delightful.
please, like, take your. I'm doing a lot, and I'm not going to be doing as many after this month. Maybe like once or twice a week I'll do them, but I kind of just wanted to get a lot of these done, and then they'll always be there. And I don't want people to feel like they need to listen to every single one right away
Oh,
because
I'm going to. Yeah, yeah.
there's a ton of them. But take your time; they're meant to be enjoyed at your own pace. And I just have been wanting to do interviews forever, so I got a little overexcited, and I was like, all right, I'll just schedule 4 or 5 a week, which is too many. I would say the sweet
Yeah.
spot is like one or two, maybe, but I've been really enjoying them, I have to say.
Yeah. I think even
Yeah.
Terry Gross only does like what, four or
She
less a week,
usually does
something like that.
4, and then one is like either a best of or
Mm-hmm.
like her co-host. I forget
Yeah,
what his
yeah.
name is. We'll hop on. Yeah, she does about 4. And hers are an hour long, so I can, after doing a bunch of these
Yeah.
that have been 2 to 3 hours long, I'm like, okay, I can see why Terry Gross keeps it at an hour and like does it 4 times a week versus 5 times a week. It really starts adding up, and
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
I saw, and to be honest, I was frightened. I was like, "What? This is like 3 hours?" And then as I'm listening, I'm like, "I want more. Like, why?
oh, I'm glad you
Give
think.
me more. Why
Yeah,
isn't
cause
there
like
more?"
I'll do it, and I tell my guests now, like, my goal is just an hour. If it goes longer, if
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah, yeah,
enjoy a
yeah.
conversation, it'll
I
go
can't sit
longer.
still for
But
more than an
like,
hour. So yeah,
yeah, but I'm like, but the conversations have just been so enjoyable that they've gone longer than an hour. So,
Honestly, I think
no,
that's what makes you such like a great artist in the art of interviewing. Like I
no,
could feel how much how your curiosity and how much you care and are
no,
interested, genuinely interested in people, and not just fawning or doing the interview to be an interviewer. Like I've seen those people, and I don't like them. But like Terry Gross, like I really
Yeah.
mean it when I feel like you're the Terry Gross of VR interviews.
That's really, I mean, she's like one of my greatest inspirations, if not my greatest
Yeah.
inspiration in terms of like just
Gosh.
interviewing people and like,
Yeah, like number one in my mind.
yeah, because the way she has this demeanor and like this presence about her where I feel like everyone just feels so comfortable talking to her
Yeah.
about anything really. Like she's just, and she's also a type of person that has like very genuine curiosity, and like she's very well known as being like just super prepared. Like if someone's a novelist,
Oh,
they'll read the novel, they'll watch the movie, or
yeah.
they'll like, so they're very knowledgeable about their guests, which I try to be too. So I don't know. Yeah, I got a lot of inspiration for her. But things have been good. I don't know. I
Cool.
moved to Arkansas, like I told you. I've been
Yeah.
working a whole lot, and it's nice here. It's a lot slower pace than California. It's where I used to live. I miss my mom, kind of.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I do, but like, I think she misses me more, which makes sense. But it's nice. It's nice being in a place with like the four seasons too. The
Yeah. I miss
yeah,
that.
yeah, and the weather is kind of all over the place here. It's very interesting. Like it was like 15 Fahrenheit like a few days ago, and then
Ooh.
it's like 60 today. It was like 75 yesterday. So it'll like go between these kind of
Wow.
extreme, not super extreme, but pretty extreme temperatures. And
Yeah.
I guess my friend Oni, who lives here, said it's just like that. But it's slower paced, and I
Hmm.
like it. I don't know. It's different than California for sure. And the number one thing is it's a lot more affordable. So yeah,
Yep,
I'm
yep,
liking it
totally.
here. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so many of my friends have moved out of California and into other better places, just nicer places to live,
yeah,
and of course, lower cost of living. So that takes the whole stress off, I imagine,
yeah,
with rent and stuff.
yeah. And like I live by myself, which is like I didn't realize how much I
That's
wanted
so
to live by
nice.
myself until I started
Until
living
you
by it.
did.
I was like, yeah, I'm a lot happier just having my own space
Oh,
and not feeling like I'm intruding on anyone else's space. Because whenever I have a roommate, I feel just like we're
yeah.
intruding on each other in a way, and like, yeah, I just don't feel 100% comfortable. And like, as you know, I had to leave my other place, and I was
Hmm.
like, I just don't want to have to look for a roommate again. So it's like I'm gonna
Yeah.
move somewhere where I can just get my own place, which is really nice. Like in
That's really
California,
nice.
I felt impoverished and like helpless. Like
Yeah.
I can never afford a place on my own there, and then here I'm living like,
Trapped for rent.
yeah, not a god here, but like living definitely living like a higher. I don't know. I don't know. I have a pretty nice apartment, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, I like it here. Yeah.
Apartment tour sometime.
Oh yeah, I can do that. It's pretty. I'm pretty minimalist, honestly.
Oh, I love minimalism.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
clear apartment, clear mind. It just
Right.
feels
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And there's that. I forgot who we were talking about. I think she was like an interior decorator. I don't know, but you were quoting someone who said like, just keep the things, pretty much keep the things that you love and bring you joy. Does this thing bring
Oh,
you joy?
Marie Kondo,
Yeah, Marie
right?
Kondo.
Yeah, yeah, from
Yeah,
Netflix. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I've always kind of, more so lately, just subscribed to that line of thinking. Like if I don't need, especially when I left California, I just threw away everything that I
Oh,
truly didn't
yeah.
need. And yeah, everything in my apartment pretty much brings me joy, I would say. So it's a good
Wait,
feeling.
you want another metric of Sweet's kitchen?
Sure.
I'm gonna use it relative to my lolly height.
Okay.
The trash bag. Sweet
Yeah.
has an amazingly large trash bag. The trash bag ended up like my height being this tall and bigger than me width wise. So that was how
Wait,
much we threw
you
out.
IRL?
IRL, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of trash.
It is a lot. That's a lot of trash. But I made sure to save it. I made sure to save it. Be like, you could dig through the trash. I could tell you what I threw away, but I'm pretty sure it was all trash. And they were like, oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, we could throw it all away.
Oh,
But no, I know that feeling. Like that must feel good. It's like lifting a weight off your shoulders. It's like, oh, now
yeah.
I'm just me. Like I'm just living with me and just what I
Yeah.
need. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
It's
hard to describe. It's really
really
nice.
nice. And I
Hmm.
just have space for all my things, whereas before I kind of like had to cram all my things into a
And VR,
bedroom and like yeah, I have a nice space for
and dancing.
VR too, pretty much. Yeah, which I actually would love to start doing. I know I keep saying that, but Sweet, I would love to start dancing with Sweet and you and Kuro and everyone. But yeah, I actually have space to do that now, which is really nice. Whereas before, my VR space was kind of like in between my bed and my computer desk, so it was maybe like
Hmm.
2 meters or something, 2 by 2 by like 1.5 meters. It was very small, but now it's pretty much my whole living room is my VR space, which is pretty nice. Um, yeah.
Dang.
Wait, how big is your VR space?
My VR space is here all the way over here. It's also
Okay.
my living room
Okay,
and my
I
workspace.
couldn't really tell how long
Oh,
how
sorry.
big that
Yeah, I
was.
kept moving because I didn't want to run into you. Yeah. It's big. It's
Hmm.
I could, I can do, I can do one, maybe two jump spin. Like, oh, well, maybe I can't.
Okay, but you can do like one or two of those. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, my wireless has been messing up recently. But
Oh.
yeah,
Mm. Did you have any questions for me? I remember you saying you wanted to interview me here.
yeah. Are we doing that part now?
Well, I guess
I was wondering if we could hop
the main thing
worlds.
I wanted to ask, you want to hop worlds? Yeah, we can hop
Yeah.
worlds. Where do you want to go?
Um, to a driving
To a driving world.
to a driving world, maybe. Yeah, if you're up for it.
Yeah, I can
So
go wherever you want,
yeah,
really.
like you probably know this by now, but like you're like super cozy, and I'm really like really hyper.
Yeah, yeah. Do you
So
need to be driving right now? Will you drive?
oh no, not right now, not right now. But
Okay,
like
all right.
yeah,
Yeah, we
I
can
do
go.
have some questions that I would like to ask.
Okay. I guess my main question I wanted to ask you, because last time you were on, we talked about VR and communication and
Hmm.
love, and I think you were right. You're unmuting just a little. I mean, you unmuted for me for our interview, which was amazing. But you've mostly been a mute in VR, and you're still a mute sometimes. Um, would you say you're most of the time still a mute, but you do unmute for like special occasions, like dancing or
Hmm.
not dancing, singing and like doing stand up, or just I'm maybe talking with friends like me right now. Has Have you noticed anything different that you've unmuted? Like, have you been able to connect to people more? Like, have you discovered anything about yourself? Because I know we had conversations just about how powerful nonverbal communication can be, and I still believe in that. But what do you think? What's your general overview of what's it been like? What it has been like to be unmuted in VR?
Ah, there's definitely things that have changed
Yeah.
and things that have stayed the same.
Mhm.
Um, I'd say the things that have stayed the same. Um, I have always used a lot of body language when I talk. So being a mute was kind of I enjoy being a mute. I prefer being a mute and communicating with body language. Because I think I might have we might have talked about it last time. I feel like words were defined by some random people who made the dictionary.
Mhm.
They're not you, but our body language is something that we made for ourselves that fit us and our personality. And it goes not even brain, because sometimes we'll move without thinking. So like it goes directly from our feelings to our body language. And I feel like that's so honest and genuine and real. Um, and I feel like that's just so special. Being able to communicate as a mute with other mutes with body language, because essentially we can read our minds. Um, I can look at how somebody's sitting or standing and know, oh, they're having a bad day today. Let's do something chill. They're tired, or like they're pretty hyped up right now, and let's do something, more active, like dancing or playing like a fighting world.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's a really special feeling that I want to, you know, be able to keep forever. But this for the same reason I like body language. Being able to convey things through your body, and people being able to see things, not just what you're doing, but how you're doing it. That same thing applies to voice, because when you speak with your voice, it's not just about the words, right? Like
Yeah.
when you're typing, there's a reason why speaking is way conveys so much more information than just texting.
Yeah.
It's how you're saying it, it's the tone of your voice. I'm a very judgy bitch, so I read a lot from a person's voice. I judge, and I've sort of developed this instinct just from experience of listening to various voices and talking to a bunch of people in my life. I almost like judge a person based on their voice. Like, if a person has a certain tone of voice, it almost tells a story of who that person is, what their personality is, what kind of background they came from. Um, I'll give you an example, and none of these are real or true. This is just my own stereotypes.
Mhm.
Like someone maybe with a more like high pitched, giddy, right, like sharper, accented voice, um, maybe is like, they're kind of hyper, right? Like they like to do stuff, and but there's also like a more lower or husky or calmer tone, uh, which sort of says to me, oh, this person's like a chill person, and
Mhm.
they take things a little slower. And then what gets interesting is when you start combining the two, when people start having different ranges of voice and different tones in their voice, and the tone changes, and you go, oh, like this is a whole person with all of these experiences and personality traits. I wish I could give you a better example. Can I use you as an
Yeah,
example?
sure.
Can I judgy bitch on you?
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know. Like I listen to a lot of I pay a lot of attention to audio. I'm an audiophile. My friend taught me. It's like a pedophile but for audio. Anyways, um,
Okay.
I listen to a lot of tones and voices, but like, you have like your normal voice. I feel like is like this calming and calm, um, loving, caring, compassionate type of voice.
Aw.
Usually I picture you like, maybe you're on stream and you're just sort of sitting with folks and you're just talking to chat, talking to them maybe. Or like when we were getting ramen, like that kind of voice.
Yeah.
Um, and then sometimes there's like the ah, yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
those types of voices. So it's like, okay, I'm starting to pair and put together this picture of like who this person is. It's like a calming, gentle, loving, caring person who's also a little like, gets excited and hyper and a little quirky and weird and
Yeah.
funny, so that, I don't know, that's sort of how did we
Aw.
ended up talking about this?
I don't remember.
Oh no. Oh, you were talking about unmuting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the same way I sort of perceive other people's voices, this is sort of unbeknownst to me, but I feel like if I see it in other people, I might have that same effect on other people, and other
Yeah.
people might perceive me that way. Oh, my controller died. Um, but it's where maybe I started unmuting, and without me being aware of it, people got to learn a little bit more about me,
Yeah.
um, from maybe the way I talk and stand up and tell stories, or the way I sing, and the way I interpret stories in the song,
Mhm.
and how I convey that, and maybe they get to learn a little bit about me through my voice. So maybe that's changed. And to your point originally, um, I feel like that must have helped me and my friends get a little closer. Um, you know, and the whole reason I love like watching your interviews and you inspire me as well is like everybody has a story. Everybody's so
Right.
interesting. They have who they are today and everything that sort of led up to making who they are today. It's filling out pieces of a puzzle.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like whenever a new piece of the puzzle is presented, whether you meet IRL or you learn a little bit about their past, or they unmute, or they get in full body and you can see their body language, whatever it is, um, it's so interesting, and I feel like we could connect a little closer because I feel like, oh, another piece of the puzzle is filled out. It's so now I know more of this whole person. So yeah, a
Yeah.
long ramble.
No, no, it's a great answer. Yeah, definitely. Just everything that you give. I mean, it doesn't have to be just your voice, but any little extra piece that you give your personality, it definitely
Oh yeah,
paints a picture, whether it's your voice or body language, or maybe like if it's art that you do, if you paint or if you sing or if you play an instrument, or for you it's it's dance, right? Primarily.
yeah.
Um,
No,
uh,
2018 Konata, I was trying so hard to be perfect.
yeah.
And not perfect because I wanted to be perfect, perfect because I wanted Konata to be perfect. Like in
Yeah,
2018, I
right.
saw my IRL self and Konata as two completely separate people. Like
Yeah.
Konata was like my daughter, and I wanted like everything the best for her, and like you know and so I put on this facade of like just it was partly me exploring like trying to be cute and trying to be more feminine and
Mhm.
eventually realizing that was just me me being me, like exploring parts of myself and not really
Right.
playing a character anymore.
Yeah.
um but I was trying to be just this one faced one dimensional person, until I started meeting my friends IRL. And this is sort of the second time I met my friends. It was in San Diego in 2019 at TwitchCon. And Blizz, my dancing friend Blizz, we were in a car together because we were going to pick somebody up from their hotel. And it was a similar, like, me being really nervous, right? Like, me showing my real self for the first time. Um, And I think I asked Blizz like, "Oh, what do you think about me? Like, do you hate me?" And
Oh.
they're like, "No, like you're the same Konata. Like, what are you talking about?" And like
Right.
little things like that they say. Like going
Oh.
back to the BTS "Love Myself" song, it's like I don't know
Yeah.
how else to describe it. It's just like and and I think afterwards, Blizz was like, "Yeah, no, like I like you better now. Like it feels more real." Like he kept
Mhm.
saying that
Yeah.
throughout the years. I'm like, okay. Shut up, you. Um, but
Aw.
yeah, I think yeah, just another example.
Mhm. Well, that's great. I mean, it sounds like it's been a positive experience for you, where I've had mute friends who unmute and they decide they don't like it, and they
Hmm.
don't permanently go back to being mute, but they pretty much mute 95% of the time. And
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know, it's interesting.
it's so
Everyone's
nice being mute. And I wanted to ask you about something on your end too.
sure.
But anyways, but real quick, no, it's really nice because like in IRL, I hate people. I hate talking to people.
Mhm.
Like and that's all my fault because when I'm in a conversation, for some reason, I feel like I have to perform. Like I have to be entertaining.
Yeah.
I have to tell a story. I have to be funny. I have to be this
Right.
amazing host, right? Like,
Mhm.
so I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it's really stressful. That's why I can only like go to a social gathering like once a month, and I got to recharge for a whole month before I can talk to humans again. But
Yeah.
being mute, it's completely different. I can just be myself, and it takes zero. It literally takes zero social energy battery for me, and it's so nice. And I could
Mhm.
totally see why people love being mute. But I wanted to ask you, um, uh, a little bit more about like your journey, from the first time we met at the boba place, on
Yeah.
the first day of my first VR road trip,
Man,
to
it's
today.
been a long time. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's been a long time. Did you want to go to that other world now
Oh,
while we
sure.
do
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this? Yeah, do you want to make it? Um,
Do you get motion sick?
A little.
Okay, okay.
But if I'm
Maybe we can.
yeah, I do a
Mhm.
little bit actually. I didn't think about that. Well, we'll see how it is.
Okay, we could try it just a little bit. Let me do that. Okay, and I'll see you in there. I was thinking about bad mouthing you
What?
while on the Discord call, but I couldn't think of anything to say.
Okay. If you can, please go ahead. I invite it.
Oh, girls, you bald motherfucker.
Oh, you bald fuck. Fuck you. All right. Wait, what vehicle are we gonna use here? Are we gonna ride in this bus or this van
Yes,
rather? Or
yes, yes.
all right.
All right. This motorcycle actually. Uh,
Motorcycle. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. I
Can
hope
we
I still
both
remember
get
everything.
on here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this
We'll,
camera
we'll,
is
we'll
gonna
take a bunch
work
of pit
though.
stops. Oh, good luck with that. I'm just gonna go. Good luck.
Yeah, all right.
Let me know if you want us to stop. I'll try my best not to like accelerate a
Interesting.
lot.
Okay. And this is
Hmm.
fine. I don't
Yeah. This is
uh
this is like my kind of interview. Are you
it's,
okay?
I'm okay. I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know how this is gonna look on camera
Oh, it's
though
gonna
for
look
an interview.
awful. It's gonna look god awful. Because we're frozen in place
We're
on the bike.
frozen in place on the bike and this is giving me a little bit of motion sickness to be
Okay, okay.
completely
Let's stop
honest.
here.
Yeah.
This is our first stop. Let's stop
Okay.
here.
We can stop and like do the interviews and
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
I don't know how to get off.
I think you just move off.
Oh, exit. Okay. Okay.
Interesting. Now lead me where you want me to go here.
We could just come here to the little campsite here.
All right. Just nice. Oh, this is
Yeah.
nice. I
Yeah.
could use some of
Barbecue.
this. What was the difference between what was different about Japanese barbecue? Because I'm not sure if I've ever had
Oh.
Japanese barbecue.
Well, yeah. So as Sweet's name implies, it's a sweeter type of barbecue. There's sauce, like their
Yeah.
teriyaki sauce and barbecue sauce. It's a sweeter type of meat, and they slice up the meat. Like every piece of meat is really high quality.
Mhm.
They give you less, but like more high quality, and it's very rich in flavor. Very sort of thin, small slices, like bite-sized slices, so you could like grab it and just put it in your mouth. It's so like it's all very, very carefully thought out. And the barbecue, if you look over here,
Mhm.
um, the Japanese barbecue stove is kind of like this in that you have the like the maybe like apple wood or whatever burning on the bottom, and the smoke comes up and there's this like grate, a steel grate, and then so the meat is allowed to absorb all of the smoke,
Mhm.
because they have a special type of wood that like and special smoke that it gets into the meat, and it's super nice, um, and all the sauce sort of drips down so it doesn't end up boiling the meat either. It's like this nice crisp dry, like
God, that
not
sounds
dry,
so
but
good.
like yeah, crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside, and
Right.
smoky flavor.
Oh heck,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm very passionate about my food.
I know. I know. Um. So yeah, you had. I don't know if there's a mirror you want to sit in front of here, or like a.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
cool. All right, so I'll just keep the
I
camera.
picked this because there's no mirror.
All right, great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know this starts taking you out of your comfort zone.
No,
But no,
I
I
don't. Well,
wanted
I
to.
have my camera, so I don't really
Oh,
care.
okay.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, I wanted to hear a little bit more about your journey. And look,
Okay.
you've sort of done something that like you inspire me in a lot of different ways. Like the Terry Gross thing is one way, but like
Aw.
uh just sort of, I don't know, I feel like you it's really beautiful. I feel like you've sort of been able to uh you've grown into yourself. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
a
it
little bit of
does.
acceptance, I might have sensed. I don't know. You tell me.
Uh,
Yeah, I'd love to hear about it.
yeah, I mean, I guess since the last time I saw you and the last time, maybe before then, because we got hot pot before I left, like a couple weeks before I left, and
Hmm.
but the time I saw you when we were at my old place, when I was at my old place and you drove to where I was and we went and got, I think it was ramen. We got ramen. It was a little bit after that that I started streaming, I think,
Yeah.
in September or October 2020. And I just kind of did that on a whim. I was just like, I'll just do this. And I was hanging out with Roshan at the time and my friend
Oh yeah.
uh, Shifty at the time, and mostly Roshan though. And we were just hanging out in this bathhouse in VR, and I was streaming to like maybe one or two people, and I was like, "This is fun," even though no one was watching. I was like, "This is fun. I'll do this again," and then I just sort of kept doing it, and I mean, like the first 9 or 10 months. I mean, now I primarily stream VRchat still, but like I only streamed VRchat for like 9 or 10 months, and I built up this little community, and I'm still trying to be better at like being a community leader. Like later, we're actually having a community night, which is nice, but like
Oh,
it's
nice.
only the second one I've done, and I've been doing this for like a year and a half now. So I feel like I'm just now I'm still learning all the time, but I definitely, being a community leader and being more active in my Discord and having community events, that's something I'm definitely trying to improve on and to do more often. Um,
So what makes you want to be a community leader? Like this coming from a selfish, self-centered asshole. I don't
well,
understand
like,
empathy.
cause
Like
I like,
what do you want to do for the
you do,
community?
you understand it more than you think. I, well, like, I have so many people that, like, I have like 10,000 followers, which is that's not a brag or anything, but it's a lot of people, and I feel like if there's that many people following me, I at least want to. I don't know. I want to like get to know everybody, and I want people to have a safe place and a comfortable place to hang out when I'm not, when I'm not streaming. I mean, that's what I try to give people when I am streaming, a comfy, relaxing, safe place that they can be. But once my stream ends, I don't want that to go away. So I want people to be able to keep feeling that after stream and have a place where they can go and relax
Totally.
and
No,
well, I was gonna
hmm
say, I also feel like VRChat specifically is such a difficult place to meet people, especially in the beginning. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I want that also to be a way for people to meet other people that are sweet and kind and cute and nice, and not have to sift through a bunch of like public spaces in VRChat, which can be very difficult and also very discouraging sometimes.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know if you've met people who, and I hear this all the time, like, yeah, I tried VR chat and it was just pretty toxic. I didn't really like it. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
oh man, like that sucks
Yeah.
because that's true. But once you meet a group and then you meet another group after that, kind of snowballs. And like once you find people that you really connect to, it's like one of the most beautiful things in
Oh
the
yeah.
world. I mean, I love it so much. So I would love to
How
provide
long
people a
did it?
place. How
Yeah,
long did
how
it
long
take
did it take for
me?
you to find, yeah,
Probably
your
a
first
few,
community?
probably
Sift through all the
couple months,
toxicity.
2 or 3 months. It wasn't.
Oh
I mean, it's
wow.
always VRChat's
Jeez.
always had some kind of toxicity, but like
Hmm.
I feel like it was easier to meet people in public worlds when I first started at
Totally.
end of 2018. Shesha Face, who was a mutual friend of
Yeah,
ours, was actually
Sissy.
one of the pretty much the first person I met that like invited me to her music community, and from there I met
Oh.
like Curry Shoe and Papa Wagons, who goes by Cheeky Dog
Hmm.
now, and Roshan, and like we would just stay up all night, like every night, drinking and playing music, and that was like the
Oh, so
first. It
nice.
was so nice, and that was like the first community, and I. Do think it took me like maybe not 3 months, maybe like 1 or 2 months before I even met Shush. I was content like going to
Oh.
public worlds and just like going from world to world, and like at the time I just had kind of a cheapy Neko avatar,
Hmm.
and then I just would meet people, and I mean I still am pretty not pretty good friends, but I'm still friends with people who I met back then. Not a lot though, unfortunately. But there are a few people that come to mind, like my friend Jenna and Andrew. Specifically, I met maybe like the second or third night I was in VR, and they
Oh,
introduced me
nice.
to their community, which I never really got close to, sadly.
Hmm.
It's kind of like you're like kind of like Midnight Haven, where a bunch of people, some of it was good, some drama, and so I was like, all right. But those two in particular, because I met them one night and we're all just drinking, and it was, I think it was Christmas Eve actually that I met them.
Oh.
And that was pretty nice. Yeah. But anyway, I guess what I'm getting at to answer your question is I don't know. It's not, I just feel like if I'm going to continue streaming and I'm going to continue being a content creator, I would love to have a place to go for me too, but for also for people who watch me to go after stream or outside of the videos that I make and stuff. And one of the things that I really want to do that for is because I'll go into some other streamers, not to name names or anything, but like their
Mm.
communities are pretty toxic and
Yeah,
pretty
yeah, a
like
lot of that on Twitch.
a lot of that on Twitch in general, not just VRchat. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want to create the community that I wish I saw in other places. Like I want it to be kind, and we can joke around and stuff, but I want people to be sincere or feel like they can be sincere and genuine and not have to like always be trolling or always have to do something mean or something. I want people to
Yeah.
genuinely feel like they're in a positive environment. um
I
yeah.
think that's one of the most amazing things. And your streaming content is amazing, but I think what's even more
Oh,
amazing
thank you.
is the community that you've built. And I was honestly genuinely impressed and surprised how let me turn that music down, it's distracting. But
Oh yeah, I have that down.
it's amazing because like everybody that I meet in chat when we're watching your streams or in your Discord and typing, like you just have this magical ability to attract like nice, genuinely kind, wholesome, loving, caring people. And maybe I just haven't hung around long enough. I don't think I've seen assholes or that many assholes yet. Like everybody, literally everybody I've seen has been amazing.
um
And yeah, I think like you've done that. You've done it. That's really amazing.
no, that's really sweet of you to say. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not taking
I guess
credit for
assholes
that.
don't
I
watch
just
your
Well,
streams.
that yeah, they don't. They probably find it incredibly boring, which is fair.
That's great.
I Yeah, and I tend to just avoid people like that. Like if I notice someone's super toxic, then I'm not super into their content either. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
goes both ways. Like, and I tend to gravitate towards people who I notice who are sincere or sweet or kind, and I just personally gravitate towards those sorts of people. I can't really explain why or how it happens, but if I'm gonna be friends with someone, it's genuinely because I genuinely like them and care about them and respect them as a person. And I've met a lot
Yeah.
of people in this game and or this community via chat, and I tend not to be super close with people who I find are mean or toxic or
Mm-hmm.
that sort of
Well,
thing. So
I
it's
wanted to ask you next, like, it's amazing that you've built this community of people who love and care and you love and care. But what happens when like someone toxic shows up? Case in
yeah.
point, that naked guy on the mountain. I still
Oh
feel
yeah.
terrible about that. And I
Kind of
remember you
similar.
telling me,
Yeah, what did I say back then? I don't
I
know.
I remember you telling me sort of like you told me, it's something that you deal with. When something toxic happens, it sort of plays almost in a loop in your mind for a while, and you sort of have to process it. Like it's something you have to do.
Yeah.
I imagine someone who's so empathetic and cares, you care when people say I love you and you really treasure that, but you also care when people like, throw bullshit at you and you're like, "Oh, why did that
Yeah.
happen?" I
Um
like could you tell me more about that your world
I
like
would
that?
say now I don't generally run into a ton of toxic people. At this point, I have established myself enough in VR chat where I have friends to go
Mhm.
to, and I trust their judgment. And and usually they don't usually have friends that are toxic, but occasionally, I'll
Yeah.
be in an invite plus or a friends plus, And, eventually a friend of a friend of a friend is going to be a toxic person. Like, you can't avoid toxic people forever. And they'll come into the world, and I'll just react how any other person would react, I think. I just get really uncomfortable, and I'm like, I'll just check the watch, and I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll go. And I just leave. I just leave pretty much. That's my initial
about
reaction.
VRchat.
It's just, yeah, I love that. You can
Yeah.
just leave if someone
Cut
makes
it
you
out.
feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then in chat, people just get, my mods are really good. My moderators
Yeah.
are really good at just banning people who are
Oh,
about to say toxic things.
just a quick note on that. I remember seeing you doing the interviews and Nerd just constantly like posting regularly. Oh, Ogros is doing an interview with this person and shout out and
Yeah, he's
Ogros won't be responding in chat. I'm
amazing.
like, oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
my
all your
mod
other mods. Yeah,
I
shout
mean,
out to
they're
Bob's
all
Leaks.
amazing. Shout out. Bob's is not my mod.
Oh,
I
I just assumed Bob's was
that's a
everybody's mod.
recurring joke, is that he's mods for everyone, but I don't want to put that on him because he already has so much responsibility with like Lulu and Kuro and Sweet and Ron, right? Like, yeah, so. Yeah, part of me wants to make him mod because he's always there anyway, but yeah. Wait, does he mod for you? I forget.
Bob doesn't mod for me. I made Bob.
Oh, you made
mod
him
for me.
mod. Okay.
I don't ask people. I just give them the little sword. I'm like, I'm
No.
running out of VIP slots. Let me give you
Well,
the
I
sword
started doing
instead.
that too because I was running out of VIP slots. I
Yeah,
just
I
made
know,
people
right?
mod. Yeah. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I just sort of the only way you can really deal with toxic people is to avoid them. Getting into more conflict and arguing with them more just makes things worse, right? So like, even if you're trying to be reasonable and like you're like, hey, what you're saying is hurt, like they don't care. Like
No, they don't.
So,
That's why I argue with them behind their back. I shit talk them.
That's
behind their
also
back.
something I don't like to do. I mean, which is fair, and I
Oh, I know.
occasionally, but like I also really don't like talking about people behind their back, even if they maybe deserve it, because I see that trait in other people, and I don't like it. Because when I hear other people talk behind people's back, I'm like, are they talking about me behind my back? And maybe, probably, and I just
Yes,
I
girls,
just don't
I am
like
talking about you behind your
yeah,
back
that's fine.
all the time.
But I just, and everyone does. I mean, I still do that. I say that, but I still do that, obviously, because I can't talk about people on stream like sometimes. So I can only mention names off stream. But
I also love how casually you dox people.
oh yeah, I dox people all the time.
You dox people with so much love. I don't mind. I don't even mind it anymore. I'll just sort of ping you and be like, yeah, you just doxed me.
Sorry.
Or like, I think you just doxed this person.
Yeah. Yeah. Not too bad though. I'm not like, here's their street address or here's what they look like. But, yeah.
It's all right because it's old girls. Well, it's a shame. I'm a little disappointed that you don't want to talk about people behind their back, because I keep bringing this up.
Well, I don't want to talk people. I don't want to talk people negatively behind their back. I like talking about people.
I want to talk about people negatively.
Okay, we can for the sake of this interview. Whatever you wanna. Well, what are you gonna ask me?
I just want to like tell the story because I've been.
Oh, that guy? Well, I don't actually know that guy.
Fucker.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that guy either.
But
fuck him.
All right, so me and
that guy.
Konata were on a mountain or like some kind of hilltop, right? Overlooking the freeway, and we were just talking, and we were talking about stand-up in particular. I remember for like an hour.
Yeah.
And there's this guy without his shirt on, and I think he has shirts or something. But yeah, the naked guy, half naked. And he was just sitting there on the bench, and the whole time we were talking, he kept like looking over at us. And
oh, was he?
yeah, he was. I noticed, and I wasn't sure if he was like mad or curious. I couldn't tell, but he did seem like he was getting like more and more frustrated as we were talking. I mean, I didn't know what was going on, but then like an hour into our conversation, he's like, I don't know exactly what he said. It was something like, "Will you guys shut up?" or something. I think he said, "Shut the fuck up" or something, or like, there's other people like.
I remember the tone was shut the fuck up, but
The
I think the
tone was
words
shut
was
the fuck.
like, you've been talking for an hour, can you talk somewhere else or something like that. But
Yeah, yeah, okay, maybe he didn't swear, but he was like, "Can you guys just, leave or something, or like be
yeah, yeah.
quiet, because some people are trying to enjoy some peace and quiet."
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah, yeah. He was
is
like some people.
some people. I mean, he's the only one else on the
He's the
now.
only one.
Which is, you know what though? But looking back on it, I try to have empathy because hey, maybe this is his only place of this freeway to like go to relax, and and we
So
were intruding on. I mean, he kind of maybe could have been nicer about it, but like,
yeah. Okay.
I
So
don't
I
know.
remember trying to be empathetic because I saw that took us both by surprise and we were kind of in shock.
I
So I was
was
like
in
trying,
shock. Yeah.
yeah, I was like trying to step down from the shock and was like, oh, maybe he's having a bad day. Maybe, yeah, like he was his only place. He was trying to relax and we were talking really loud. But after I thought about it afterwards, like a year later, I'm like, fuck that guy. Fuck him. It's nature. It's go find another hill to go be shirtless. Fuck
That's
him.
true
I
too.
don't
Like that,
care.
he could
Yeah.
also find another place if he didn't like it. Like, not his hilltop, but it's whatever. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like VR so much. Like, I can just leave, or he could just leave. Maybe they didn't
Yeah.
like
We
it.
can just block each other.
You know, yeah, I don't know. But it did rattle me because when people are that emotional with me, or especially with anger, and they're upset at me
Hmm.
IRL, like when strangers yell at me or are mad at me, I don't know, it really rattles me for some reason. I don't know what that comes from, what evolutionary thing that comes from, but like,
Oh yeah. But
um,
part of what rattles me is just like the mystery, the unknown. Like why?
yeah,
Who is this person? Where is this coming from? And there's just so
right,
much I don't know. And like
yeah,
that's uncomfortable as well.
yeah, right, hmm,
Yeah.
mm,
But yeah, no, it feels good to say fuck him. But maybe he was having a bad day.
yeah,
I think it's important to have both. I think like for me, like to allow, because like anger or like shock or frustration, right? Like being on the receiving side of that, I think it's important to allow ourselves to go like fuck them, go fuck off, go be shirtless somewhere else, because I think it's a real human emotion, and I think all the feelings we feel are valid. And I think I've spent so much time running away from my feelings, it just sort of builds up, and I don't really get anywhere. So like I'm trying
yeah,
to get a little better at it, just expressing what I'm feeling.
hmm,
And I find that if I'm processing facing them, and I go fuck them, and then it's like but he was also human too. So,
yeah, right,
but yeah.
exactly. Hmm. Did you have any other questions? I guess I never really totally talked about my journey, but like,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you a little bit about that if you feel
I mean,
comfortable
like, I don't.
sharing.
It's been like 17 months now since I started streaming, which is such a long time, and it's always something that I wanted to do. I don't know
Let me
why.
let me just address it. Pronouns.
Oh, let's
I
just
want to
go.
ask you about that.
Yeah, I don't
No, no,
know.
no, no. I know
Still,
what they are. I wanted to ask you the story about it.
oh, what they them? Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm like a gender fluid person, and I've always been pretty feminine looking. I mean, I was born a boy, and like even now, like I'm still somewhat androgynous, I think. I don't know. And I don't know. I never really, growing up, I never really connected with hyper masculinity or like being like an alpha male or anything like that. And, toxic masculinity, especially, I especially didn't like. And, I did gravitate towards like feminine things. And it wasn't until like VRchat in general. I would say, I mean, it really has nothing to do with streaming. It's more just like being in VR and being able to express myself in a more feminine way and a softer way. It's been really nice. But I don't really care about, and this is for me personally, and I know pronouns are so important for so many people, and I respect that. But for me personally, I don't really care if people see me as one or the other because I don't attribute those things to who I am and like my personality. It's just I'm just me,
Oh wow.
whether or not you see me as feminine or more masculine. That's you. That's your perception of me, but it really, I don't perceive myself with like particular pronouns at all. I do like looking more feminine and being more feminine, but I don't know. It's not super important to me, which is why I prefer like saying I'm gender fluid or non-binary, because I feel like there are times when I'm, you know, a bit more feminine. There are times when I'm not, and I don't know. It's still something I'm figuring out, obviously, and to be honest,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
really know. But
Oh,
yeah,
but I find that really amazing. The old girls just has no shits to give, and I think
yeah,
that's
I don't really
yeah,
care at
I love that
all.
perspective. Yeah, because I know, folks, you know whether they want to feel this way or not, the natural reaction is, being misgendered. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's distraught.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I'm a little guilty of that too. But
yeah. I mean,
yeah, but no, that's such a nice. Yeah, you said something. I just went, whoa, that's deep. But you said that's your thing, and like I think do you think it comes from just like confidence and security
uh,
in who you think you are and who you believe you are and acceptance of who you are and love for who you
probably
are?
acceptance, love. I'm still working on that towards myself,
Hmm.
and I'm probably getting better at that than I was when I was little. Self love. I mean, that's something I've like consciously tried to work on: self love and self acceptance. I guess that in particular, though, is something that I've always kind of been sure of for a while. Like, I've never really had, and this is me, this is just me personally, and I know a lot of people don't feel this way, but I personally never really had that much gender dysphoria, if any. Maybe here and there once in a while, but I remember when I was like 19 or 20 and I looked super feminine, and people would mistake me for a girl all the time back then, and I would be like, I would feign like it bothered me, but it never really did. I'd be like, oh man, you know, getting called a girl again. But it never really bothered me because I looked super feminine, so I can understand why people thought that. Um but yeah, I don't know. And you know what
Wow.
though, like I think part of that comes from, I am just an androgynous person, but like a lot of my friends who are trans, or maybe they're figuring themselves out, may
Hmm.
physically look more like one gender or the other, and so I feel like the dysphoria then would increase
Hmm.
a bit. You know,
Hmm.
say, you know, your body didn't match how you felt on the inside, and like the more of the case that is, I feel like the more it would hurt to be misgendered. Does that make sense? Like,
Oh, that
um,
makes total sense.
yeah, and because I'm fortunate, I say fortunate, but I'm somewhere in the middle, and I've always felt emotionally somewhere in the middle, not so one way or the other in terms of gender. That how I look like fits how I feel on the inside. And I think how I present myself also fits how I feel on the inside. So there isn't that much inner turmoil for me. And I am, and I think, an exception, because I feel like not a lot of people are that way. Maybe they are. I don't know. But that's just the case for me. I don't know if it's confidence. It's just more. I don't know. I'm fine with who I am, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Well, they didn't
It's
really do
inspirational.
anything. Okay, I don't think that, but maybe, I
Uh,
don't know.
yeah, maybe more than you think. I got one last question if you got some more time.
Yeah, sure.
I'm wondering if you'd be okay with another world hop. I can't sit
Yeah,
in one place for too long. I'm
yeah,
hyper.
for sure. This is very interesting, different video. So, or
Hopefully
interview.
not motion sickness inducing.
Okay.
Or it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. This one should be pretty safe. Okay, I'll see you there. Woo!
Very interesting interview. Oh wait, you're still there. You're still on the call.
Oh, girls, you bald fuck.
What? Wow. That hurt.
Oh wait, I'm still in the interview.
You're still in the interview. Bald. Fuck. Okay, this one's... Whoa, okay. Why am I the master in this world? I
Oh, you can
definitely...
turn off. You can turn off the boat uh
Oh, gosh.
stuff.
This
You can turn
is...
it off. I'm sorry. You can turn it off. It's in settings.
How do I
I
turn it
think
off?
comfort. No, not comfort. Where is it? I know it's somewhere. Uh, uh
Oh, it's okay. We can be here for
no, no, no.
you.
Where?
I'm the
Gosh.
master, so I don't know if I should leave or...
Oh no, you're good. Uh, Dang. Uh, Map? No. Video? No. Settings?
It's okay. I'm good. I'm good. I don't know where you'd
Okay.
like to continue our interview, though.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. Um. How about we do a little sailing, and then I'll ask as I'm doing it.
All right.
Let me see if I can get us farther away from the mountains here.
Okay.
Um. Have you ever been on a boat before?
I've been on like a very, very brief...
By, by the way, can you help us turn the sails on? It's those two little spheres over there. Those two balls. Yeah. Thank you.
Uh, I've been on a very, very brief boat ride, like on a ferry, in San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco.
Oh.
I've been kayaking like once. I don't think that really counts as a boat. I have never really been on a boat like this before that I can think of, though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, but it is kind of relaxing.
Yeah. I love
This
I
world's just
love the
called...
ocean.
Have you gone sailing like on a boat like this? I would love to. I'm not a
I
great swimmer though, is the thing too.
Oh
So
no, neither am I. Apparently I swim like a fish. I
isn't that good?
I guess so. I guess so. It just looks kind of silly. Do you prefer day, dusk, or night?
Let's
Where
go
are we?
dusk or night, not day though.
Actually, it's gone. This whole place changed.
Okay.
I used to we used to oh, dang it. Okay. Oh well. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess day it is.
Yeah.
Um you want to hop up there?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Maybe up here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, where were we? Oh, I was gonna ask you a question.
Mhm.
Um, I asked you this like a million times before.
Yeah.
But oh, yeah, I just want to ask you today.
Sure.
I'd love to hear the story about like the origin of O Girls, like the
Oh.
origin behind your name, but also like you do this thing where you message people and you just say, I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, I do
Um,
do that. Yeah.
and I think like that's how we met too, or like got closer was
Mhm.
uh just these messages. Um,
Yeah.
and the yeah, so yeah.
Um my name isn't really super exciting. It's just something that my friend used to say in high school. Just oh
Mm-hmm.
girl. And I thought that was funny. It's kind of held up now, I guess, 'cause it's not really a super serious name, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just silly, and I don't know. I feel like it's just held up since then. Funny enough, I'm not actually friends with the person anymore
Uh-huh.
who I got the name from. Like he's kind of actually kind of a toxic person looking back on it,
Oh
and didn't
no.
actually really like me. But I don't really think
Mm,
about him at all. And I've probably said it way
gosh.
more than he has at this point. So that's okay. In terms of messaging everyone, I guess I think selfishly, I think I've told you this before. Selfishly, it's because I like hearing from people, and I mean I like getting messages back too, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more I just like really like checking in on my friends, and It should be a two-way street in terms of communication, and that's the way it should be. But a lot of the times, I feel like it's good to be the one that reaches out, because not everyone is going to feel super comfortable reaching out to you, and we're busy and sometimes we forget to. And I don't do it every day
Social
anymore.
anxiety.
Social anxiety, for whatever reason. And I know I really like it when I get messages from people. And so I just like being the person that reaches out and being like, hey, I love you. Here's some positive energy. I was thinking about you. I hope you have a good day. And I think more than anything that I do, whether it's these interviews or my stream
Mm-hmm.
or whatever content I make in the future, I think that probably more than anything would be what I'd like to be remembered for, is just trying to send a little
Oh.
bit of love your way. That's pretty much it, really. I don't care about. I used to care more about being famous, I think, when I was younger, before I started streaming, like
Uh-huh.
way back when I was like in high school or elementary school or something. But
Where do you think it came from? Like this whole desire to connect with people and
um,
wanting to send messages because you enjoy getting sent. Like, did it come from somewhere, or
I don't.
was it always there? Was it your
It's
childhood?
been there for a while. Since I was in
Huh.
high school, I always would not to this degree, to the number of people that I
Mm-hmm.
do now, but I always was interested in messaging people and getting to know people, and checking in on people and caring about people. I think I got that from like maybe my grandma and my grandpa on my mom's side. They
Oh.
would always check in on me. And at the
Oh.
same time, at the opposite end, my dad was a really mean person and like never checked in on
I
anyone. But
see.
I would
Mm-hmm.
see like him he owned a restaurant. He would yell at his employees, and like in a really negative way, like, and more
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
like in an abusive way. And
Yeah,
I
like
think
what I
that
do.
even worse than you, like way worse, way
Yeah. Wow.
worse, way worse. And I just didn't want to be that way. I just would see how
Mm.
he would act, and I was like, I don't want to be the complete opposite of that. So I like back when Facebook was a thing, I would send people messages on Facebook, not to the same degree that I do now. And I think just over time, and when I was younger, I was not the most positive person with myself or with other people. And I think just with time, I just noticed that people gravitate towards that. People
Mm-hmm.
gravitate towards kindness and
Yeah.
towards people reaching out to them. And the more and more I did it, I just saw more and more people gravitated towards that and responded to that. So it's just something that I started doing and doing more of, and I still do that to this day. I don't message people every day. I would, but I feel like when you do that, the meaning it's not as significant as doing it maybe like once or twice a week instead, because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like people might think you're going through the motions, and maybe I even am going through the motions. But when I do it, 2 times a week or something, maybe a little bit more or less, um, it's a good I don't know, good amount, I think, where I can, because I really want to be genuine when I do it. I don't want people to think that
Yeah.
I'm just doing it just to do it. I
Oh
genuinely,
my gosh.
everyone I message, I genuinely care about, and I genuinely, even if I don't message them, I genuinely care about a lot of people. But I think it's important to check in, and sometimes, I know when I'm feeling down and I'm not responding to messages, I still appreciate it when people check in, even if I'm not responding. And I don't know. I just like sending love people's way, and sometimes you need a message that's just like, "Hey, I was thinking about you." And so, yeah,
Oh yeah. I can say for a fact.
yeah,
No, it's been really nice. Uh, yeah, I remember several times just being in a low state and just getting a message from you and be like, oh, thanks, so girls, I really needed that. Just
Aw.
something super simple, just like, hey, this
Yeah,
other human being knows you're alive and cares that you exist. Like it's just
yeah. And sometimes we
and
forget about that, because
yeah.
I feel like, and I'm still working on learning how to communicate, but most of us are terrible at communicating. Really, not
Yeah.
terrible, but we have
No,
difficulty.
terrible, so
Maybe
terrible.
terrible, and like, you
I
know,
think it's like one of the biggest banes of the human existence is just not understanding how to communicate properly.
it's
And it's not that
difficult.
people don't want to. Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's frustrating. Like
yeah,
grown adults, they go, like they start cussing and it's like, oh, I'm
right,
angry. I don't know why I'm angry, and I'm trying to tell you why I'm angry, but I'm not making any sense. It's like it's really
right,
frustrating. Um, Rather than like, so I yeah, I've worked really hard growing up to learn words, even though I'm a
hmm
mute, like to learn how to communicate and express myself, and that's sort of where the body language comes from. Is just to help with that. Like that's so important to me because I don't ever want to miscommunicate or have say something that's easily misunderstood,
right,
or do something that has an effect that I didn't intend and hurt people. Like I that's the worst. Like that's the worst thing um, to have on your conscience. So, and I think that's
yeah,
what got me into like dancing and singing and stand up. It's to try to find ways to communicate and convey ideas. But
yeah.
no, just sorry about the random jump. No, the
No,
quick
no,
thought. I found it was fascinating how you talked about your grandparents and your father. It was super interesting that you had both role models. You had like the
yeah,
side that showed you the empathy and the checking in and that habit, and then also the side of almost like, oh, the anti role model. This is who I don't want to be. Like
right,
I think
yeah,
we
and
get that a lot watching our parents.
yeah, yeah, it's true. I didn't think of it like that. Maybe I would be different if I didn't have one or the other. Like sometimes you see people go the
Hmm.
other way where they're like they start
Easy to take
emulate
it for granted.
that, and well,
Yeah.
like they'll have a mean parent or something, or an abusive parent, and
Mm-hmm.
then they'll mimic those abusive tendencies because that's, and I've definitely done that before. Like I've taken bad parts of my parents too, and then once I realize it, it's sort of like it's very shocking, or I mean I don't know,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
so
like it.
cringe.
Yeah, it's so cringe, and I try my best to not repeat those things.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of it's just self-reflection though, and just also reflecting on the people who have just made a positive impact in my life. And I've
Yeah.
forgiven my dad at this point. He did a lot of good things for our family, and helped take care
He
of
cooked for
us. And
you.
he cooked for me. Yeah, that was one of
Mm-hmm.
the biggest things. And he expressed his love in different ways, but there were parts where that were super abusive and
Mm-hmm.
were just shitty, and I
Yep.
don't
Yep.
want to emulate those parts at all. And yeah, I don't know.
I want to ask you how you reflect and deal with those things because I'm going through a similar thing right now, but I want to turn that annoying music off. So give me a sec.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
Only the helmsman is allowed to
settings.
teleport to another location. Sail,
Interesting.
chill, or follow an adventure.
This is like some weird Eurobeat type thing going on back here.
I just
Anyways,
always
okay,
have
I'm back.
world music turned off.
Oh, I like to keep it on for this one because of the ocean waves. I love
Yeah, that's
yeah, I
fair.
love the ocean.
Fair,
But
fair.
how do you I'm like working on this right now. Uh just issues from
Yeah.
childhood, whether it's anger or depression, um and you know part of what I do is to reflect. I talked about the road trip, um but like right now I'm like trying to talk to people and like talk to professionals, and that's been really helpful, um and just sort of learning to pick apart. But like like how do you reflect when how yeah how do you get into like a reflecting mode, and how do you deal with uh I guess parts of who you are that you want to be more of, or be less of. We're talking about things you don't want to be and not emulate.
I guess once again, it's all about, I mean, self reflection almost to an obsessive point for me. I always reflect
Mm-hmm.
on conversations that I've had or interactions that I've had with people. And when I have an interaction with someone that doesn't go well, either they end up upset or I end up upset,
Mm.
I like obsess over that interaction for so long. And if there's anything I can do about it, say if I can go to that person and be like, and apologize and be like, hey, I said this and that was really awful of me and I'm really sorry. Or if it's miscommunication, it's like, oh, hey, this was said, but I didn't really mean it that way, or I'm just wondering what you meant by this. Usually it gets cleared up if you either with it's sincere, that's
Yeah.
the most
Yeah.
important part, sincere apology, or just talking things through. Sometimes I reflect on things and I'm like, okay, both of us just,
Suck.
just suck, or like both of us, we're not going to come to an understanding about this because we're different
Mm.
people. I don't know. Some
That's
some
okay.
interactions just, and it's okay. That's okay. Sometimes
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
don't work out
Yeah.
as much as I want them to. But a lot of it is just
Hmm.
self-reflection and learning to communicate with people and learning to be good to people. That's something you can work on. That isn't just something that happens. Like, it's something that you can work on, and it's a skill that you can build. And a lot of that is reflecting. And I keep a journal, and I write a lot of this stuff down, and maybe probably too much so, but
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know, self-reflection. And because communication is, I was talking about this with Sweetie, like, it's just such an important thing to me. They're using
Hmm.
language and communicating not properly, but communicating in a non-abrasive way, in a comfy way, pretty much. um, I think part of that also comes from working like in the service industry for so long. Like, I grew up working in a
Oh.
restaurant, and I kind of had to learn to deal with people when they were at their
Yeah. It's
angriest
not
or
worth
most.
fighting.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that too. And I had to deal with people when they were irritable, and like, also not just with food, but when I was like a performer, when I was a magician for
Hmm.
like
Hmm. Hmm.
3 or 4 years, I had to deal with angry
Hecklers.
parents, hecklers, and like upset
Ah.
kids and stuff. And like, so I was constantly in a position where I had to be amiable, and I had to be sweet, and I had to kind of take the high road or whatever, or at least, you know,
Yeah.
be in a.
What's the thought process? What's the tactic, the strategy here? Like something that maybe should be pissing you off, right? Or triggering you. Like, but how do you end up on that, like, okay, like I'll take the high road or I'll go apologize, right?
I
How do you
just
do that?
laugh things off a lot of the time.
Oh, okay.
It's really hard for
Yeah, yeah,
someone
yeah.
to really upset me. I have
Mm-hmm.
not super tough skin. I'm actually pretty sensitive, but like a heckler at a magic show is not gonna upset
Yeah.
me. I'm just like, oh man,
Mm.
it's like,
Oh man.
I can't really do anything about it. I've heckled before in my time. I mean, I was that kid during a magic show who'd be like, you suck, magician, like whatever. So I know how that goes, and that was not gonna make me mad. What makes me mad is like when someone says something really toxic to me or to a friend for no reason, like for a very stupid reason, which is like just their own ignorance and bigotry. Like, that
Hmm.
makes me mad, but stuff like that doesn't make me, like, getting heckled doesn't make me upset. And I mean, it goes. Um, it depends on the situation, but I think a big thing is just empathy. Like, if
Yeah.
someone's like hungry, or if someone's like waiting for a table when I was working in a
I've been
restaurant,
that kid before. Yeah.
I
That.
understand that they're feeling frustrated, so I just
Hmm.
try to have empathy, and I try to be like, hey, I'm really sorry. This is just how it is, and we'll get you a table, or your food is coming out. We're working on it. We're just super busy, and I'm really sorry that because
I've been thinking about this the other day. Sorry to interrupt,
no,
but
you're
actually
good.
finish your thought,
Well, I was saying,
please.
people don't. What people, I think, at least in that situation, I was thinking with restaurants specifically, people don't want to feel like they're being forgotten or neglected, right? People want to feel like their concerns are valid, and they are.
Hmm.
So as soon as you're like, oh, hey, whatever, like, your food's coming out, but you're not talking to them specifically, you're just giving like a blanket answer to everybody. It's like you're just going through the motions and you don't really care about their problem. But when you show
Right.
genuine empathy, and you try to listen to what people are saying to you, and you show genuine concern for what they're going through, I think that's when when you can really connect to
Yeah.
people. Um, yeah. I know what
Yeah.
we're
No,
talking
I
about,
find that
but
too.
yes.
Yeah. No, I find that too. Like, just the problem isn't that the food is late. It's just feeling neglected.
Right.
So like just saying, hey, like sorry, the food's late. we're backed up, we're understaffed, whatever, like, just explaining, oh, it takes a little more time, or the supplies just came in. It's like, oh, okay, sure, sure, take your time. Like,
Yeah.
it's, yeah. Um, um, I was curious because I think empathy takes us very far. But I'm wondering, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm wondering how far does it take us and when does it not work? Right? Like when, because an ignorant person, right, who's, you know, uh, spits toxicity at you and your friends, um, that sort of goes like past that line of like how much I can be empathetic. I don't know sort of how you think about it. I love to hear it. For me, I have this theory where, and it's a very self-centered theory because I'm me, but I have empathy up to a point where I see myself in you.
Okay.
I'm empathetic and I can understand it up until you start doing things that I do or I used to do. Because I
Oh,
hate myself so much that when I see a mirror of myself, I hate that and I don't have empathy for that. I get really triggered,
interesting.
really pissed off. I go on a rant. Yeah. So if I see another selfish asshole or an arrogant asshole or right, like another, person I feel is like me, I'm
Hmm.
really angry at myself. Like
Yeah.
what's triggering me is the reflection of myself. I don't give a damn about that person. I
Hmm.
just care about me. So, um, I don't know. I just find me being me. I find that's where my empathy, the little empathy I have, sort of drops off.
Hmm.
Because, yeah.
Um, I don't really know where it kind of. That's a good
Hmm.
question. Yeah, I guess when I see, because I've been toxic before too. I don't
Yeah, yeah,
actually,
yeah.
I don't think of it that way for myself because I
Hmm.
don't, in terms of seeing like negative things about myself that I see in other people. That's
Hmm.
not what
Hmm.
shuts the empathy off. The
Hmm.
empathy shuts off when I notice the other person has no sense of empathy for what I'm going through. When someone just
Mm.
comes in and like throws a slur at me, just for
Hmm.
no reason,
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
the empathy's like, all right, this
They're not
guy's,
even willing to meet you and have common ground.
yeah,
Like no one's willing to.
they're
They're not
just
willing to be
coming
empathetic
in
like you are.
attacking me
Yeah,
for no
yeah,
reason
yeah,
whatsoever. If
yeah.
they had
Like
a
I can't reason with this
reason,
person.
if they had a
Hmm.
reason, I would have empathy. If I was the one like who said something
Hmm.
toxic or mean and they were coming at me, then I would have empathy because they'd have a
Hmm.
reason. But when people just come in at me with no reason and they're just spewing hate or they're just angry, then my empathy
Yeah.
tends to shut off. And even then, I sometimes I feel bad for this person, like, that it almost feels cliche where you're like, these people are just like this
Right.
because
Right.
of whatever, because
I
the way
believe
they
that.
grew up. I
100%.
do believe
Yeah.
that too. There is a reason why people end up that way. Either it's how they grew up, and that's not an excuse. It's just the reason
No.
why.
Yeah.
Um, and I try to I really try hard to understand people and understand where they're coming from because I think there's so little of that
Hmm.
in our culture, and
Yeah.
it's so just such a polarized society. Like everyone is either one
Hmm.
side or the other, and I never think that life is that simple. It's much more
Oh yeah.
gray than that, and I don't know. But yeah, generally empathy stops when people aren't even trying to meet me halfway and they're just coming
Yeah.
and attacking me. But generally, it's I don't know. It's always there for the most
I,
part. Otherwise,
I like what you said. It's like I'll be empathetic and I'll understand that you're an asshole because of your past and your experiences in your life, but you're
yeah.
still an asshole. Like I don't have to like you. I don't have to,
No, yeah, I don't have
talk
to.
to you.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
like
And then
I
generally, it's
understand what
better.
made you this way.
It's
Yeah,
it's
but
it's
I still
okay to
don't like you.
separate yourself from
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who give you a bad vibe and who you don't
Hmm.
feel comfortable being around. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't. And I
Give
say that
yourself.
because, yeah, you don't have to give yourself to people who make you
Yeah.
feel bad.
Take
And
care
I
of
say that
yourself.
because I've been in abusive friendships, abusive
Hmm.
relationships, and I felt like, oh, I need to stay for whatever reason. But you can separate yourself from people who don't make you feel good and who don't have your best interests in mind. And I think that goes back to what you were saying. Why am I surrounded by so many kind, wonderful people? It's because I've separated myself from people who aren't like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And that
you
takes
know,
work. Like that takes real work. Like
well,
I hope like me and also anybody who's watching, like we all like I have a thought, right? Like where, oh, I wish I, had a comedian like that. Or I wish, oh, that's really inspirational. Like it's very admirable. I admire it. But it takes a lot of, I don't know, in my view, it takes a lot of work, right? You didn't
yeah,
just get here by existing. Like you put in the time and the thought and the effort of working on yourself and also working on friendships and building relationships and like not, like there's a reason why old girls is old girls. Yeah.
um, yeah, I guess. I've had a, I've had a history of
You don't take compliments. You don't
self-reflection.
like.
No, I do. That's very sweet. Thank you. I just don't. I try to be a modest and humble person because I don't know if there's a because. I just like being that way. I guess maybe I see it in my grandmother, someone just like having
Mm,
grace and just being. I always feel like there's something you can work on, or at least for me, personality trait, or and maybe that's probably not super healthy to continually think I need to improve myself, but I don't know. I I think it's
I
good.
think
I
that's
think it's
great.
good to be self-reflective and to
Absolutely.
try to be the
I
best
feel like
version
the,
of
the worst
yourself.
thing about not being self-reflective, if you're selfish like me, the reasoning is you end up doing things you didn't intend to do that you didn't want. Like you end up going against your own
Yeah.
self-interests. When you're not
Yeah.
self-reflective, you end up like blinding yourself, going in one direction, and then when you wake up 20 years later, it's like, wait, how did I get here? That's not what I wanted to do.
Right.
I didn't want to push all my friends and family away from me, right? All my
Yeah.
loved ones, because I'm an asshole.
It
But no,
definitely
yeah.
I definitely
Hmm.
think about the things that are important to me and the things that I want to do before I die. And
Hmm. Hmm.
I bring that up sometimes and I know people don't really like it a lot just thinking about their immortality, which is fair,
Oh, please do.
but
I'm fine.
the reason I think about it is because I want to do the things that are important to me before I go, and I want to treat people the way they deserve to be treated, or the best that I can before I go too, because I have had friends who have died
Mm.
young,
Yep. Yep.
and one of them specifically, I remember I was a total jerk to them before they died, and I never really got to tell them how much I loved them and how much I cared about them, and they died, and I'll never get to tell them the rest of my life. And he was someone that really believed in me, and I think that's also part of what drives me
Yeah.
is people who believe in me and who have believed in me, and it makes me want to just take care of myself and be here for a while and just put things out in the world that I think are nice. I don't know. Um, yeah. I forget what the original question was, but just self-reflection or something. I don't know.
Can I head pat you?
Yeah.
Pat, 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 pat. Hug.
Yeah. That's good. Are you going to TwitchCon, by the way?
Sure.
You should go, because then it'll just give
It's
me a
just a
reason to
drive.
see you. Yeah. I'm
Oh, are you
flying.
coming?
Yeah. I'm going to be there for a
Oh, I'll be
week.
there.
Yeah, we'll
I'll be
get
there.
hot pot
Yes.
or a Korean barbecue or something. Yeah, I'm going to be there
Yes.
for a week. The con's only for like a weekend, but our Airbnb is for a week. So I'll be there for a week in
Nice.
San
Nice.
Diego. Yeah.
I'll be there. I just wanted to comment. My first response was like to just do something, a gesture, like a hug or a pat. But thank you for sharing that with me. I sort of we were talking about some of this kind of stuff before, and I sort of got the feeling that something like that might have happened. And maybe
Yeah.
it's wrong of me to think this way. I feel like the best people, they don't get it for free. Like a lot of times I feel like people have hit some sort of trauma in their life. Something
Yeah.
happened, didn't go the way they wanted or expected, and they were thrown in this position where they had to reassess, reevaluate who they are and who they want to be. Um, and I think it's really unfortunate and really sad and that happened. But I can see uh, sort of better how old girls became old girls
Yeah,
that
I've
way.
had two of my two of my closest friends died young. One of them committed
Hmm.
suicide when I was in college. The other died
Hmm. Hmm.
I think 5 or 6 years ago. I don't even remember now, and he just died of health complications. My grandmother also died very young, and you know, man, she specifically thought that I didn't thought that we only visited her for like to gain something and stuff, to like get money or whatever. And I just, when I heard that, I like just cried and like died on the
Hmm.
inside. I was like, God, I wish I could tell her how much I loved her and how much she meant to me. And my aunt told me something which has resonated to me, which resonated with me till now, is that it's important to tell the people that you love them, or at least show them that love, right? More importantly, show them that love, um, because one day you won't be able to, um, either because you pass away or they pass away. So once again, it ties in with my mortality. Like, time is so finite, and I wish it wasn't like that. I wish I could live much longer, but I don't. And that is what part of what makes life so beautiful, and part of what motivates us, I think, every day to keep going.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I
I
guess that's,
you said earlier like sometimes talking about mortality makes people feel uncomfortable, and that's a very valid response. But
yeah,
I think the
it is.
benefit of recognizing our own and others' mortalities, like you have, is you can sort of come to a place like this where you were able to think through and be honest and ask yourself, okay, mortality is real, so how do I want to live my life, right?
Right.
The people I care about, their mortality is real, my mortality is real. And you sort of were able to use that to come to this. So I want to tell people I love them. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's really beautiful.
Uh,
Yeah, that's all the questions I had. I don't think we can
okay.
top that. I think that's it.
Okay. So I actually have to sadly get going.
Yeah,
I got a community night tonight. It was really lovely
it
talking
was
with
so
you.
lovely to catch up. I'll see you
Um,
at TwitchCon.
I'll see you at TwitchCon. It's not for a while. I hope we can
Yeah.
hang out before then. That's in like 7 months,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Oh, yeah, is
yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's in 7 months. But yeah, it was lovely talking with you. Thank you for interviewing
Yes.
me and talking
Yeah,
about your
thank you
road
for
trip
doing
and
this too.
stuff.
I know you're busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see you
I hope this
around.
is somewhat, yeah, I hope this
No,
is
this was
enjoyable
great. Yeah,
and
I love
relaxed
talking
and
with you.
not
It
too
was. Yeah,
stressful.
yeah. This
Yeah,
was really
adding to your
stressful.
busyness.
Oh no, I would keep talking too. I have a meetup in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit, and I gotta get food and
Oh,
the
yes, yes,
work I
get
need
food.
to do. But thank you so much for being here once again. My guest
Yeah.
Kanata. I'll link their socials and stuff in the video later. But
Yes, yes, yes.
I love you and thank you for doing this. And
Love you too, old girls. Thank
yeah,
you. I'm glad we got to chat.
me too. And I guess
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
end it. Bye guys. I'll
Bye.
end the recording. I can do
Wow,
it
way to give me the
from
middle
here.
finger at the very
Did
end.
I do that? I'm sorry.
Fucking bald
Fuck.
fuck.
Wow. I can't go to my OBS menu. I guess I gotta do it manually. Bald fuck. Bye,
Bald
everyone. I love you.
fuck.
Wait, I can't even open up OBS right now. There we go.